Hi, and welcome to the portfolio walkthrough of LadderUp. This is the portfolio on Behance, and it is the mobile app that I designed called LadderUp. It's an app where you get trustworthy expert advice to help your small business grow. So we've got sort of the front page of the portfolio, and then we go down to the contents, sort of how the project's going to go, project overview, understanding the user ideation, prototype, test, and redefine the design. Then we go down here sort of for the project overview. Up here we've got empathise, define, ideate, prototype, test. Just another way of kind of showing how the project flows and how we end up with our final outcome. And then we've got about the app. LadderUp is a mobile app that connects people who want to start small businesses with mentors to guide them through their journey. My role as a UX researcher, UX designer, and UI designer, and then a list of the tools used: Balsamiq, Photoshop, Figma, Adobe XD, SurveyMonkey, Google Surveys, Zoom, and Microsoft Suite. There were some others, but these were the ones I felt were most important to mention. Then when we go down to hypothesis and problem statement, these needed their own page. I feel that they are so important in the project, and they were always at the forefront of my mind when designing or making any decisions. So the hypothesis is we believe that by providing a platform where users can receive trustworthy advice and knowledge, we will give users the confidence to make the right decisions with their small businesses and be successful. And then the problem statement: our users need a safe space and user-friendly platform where they can receive trustworthy advice on growing their small businesses. We will know this to be true when we see users progressing and succeeding growing their small businesses. So these two were always very key in every decision that I was making as a designer. And then we go down, research. So we've got competitive analysis, which I did on two other apps mainly. One was a web application, another one was a mobile app. So we've got Masterclass and Mentor Cruise. I did a SWOT analysis for both and identified some key opportunities for my app. Although they didn't offer the exact same services as the app that I'm creating, they do have similar services and kind of an overall theme of learning and improving. So I did choose these two, and I identified key opportunities such as improving the community feature, improving the UI, having a monthly payment option, lowering the price, and a live Q&A element. So within the research, I also did a business requirement document, which helped to fine-tune my target audience. The risks and opportunities led me to define the function requirements I wanted for LadderUp. So the function requirements I managed to define were an onboarding page, a way to sign up and log in that allows users to input and save their personal information, a home screen or dashboard, a menu that will enable users to navigate the application, a way to browse experts and pose a question to them, and a method of paying for an expert's time. Then we move on to understanding the user. This is really important. This is where we sort of empathise, and this particular user here, Amelia Stevens, was the person I kind of focused on. She is a 23-year-old student who's recently graduated. She has a bachelor's degree, but during lockdown she started a scrunchie business that matches masks, they're silk, and she wants to take them into more of a business rather than just selling to her friends. And she doesn't have anyone around, and there's so much information on the internet that she doesn't sort of know who she can trust with advice. So her frustrations, needs, goals, and motivations were what I kept referring back to when making decisions about the design of the app. Here we've got another sort of user profile where a different idea from a different angle. It's good to have different perspectives. And then here we've got the user journey of Amelia Stevens, showing like the phases, task for a specific scenario. This is her finding a mentor and messaging to book a call. And you can sort of see her emotions as she's going through. And then underneath we can identify the opportunities through her emotions and the process of going to book this call, so what we would need to put into the app and how it will function. This here is a user journey of an expert, because although the users for the app will be sort of users seeking out expert advice, the experts on the app are also users, so they also need an excellent experience. So this is a scenario where Philip wants to sign up and become a mentor, and we can see his journey, his emotions, and opportunities for him when signing up to become a mentor on the platform. Then we move on to ideations. We've got user flows. Here's a scenario task of a user wanting to find an expert who has experience that's relevant. So they go sort of through an onboarding experience, search for an expert. There's a questionnaire so they can identify the specific expert you need, and then you sort of end up speaking to the expert. Another sort of simple user flow, scheduling a call with an expert. And then we've got the sitemap. So I think the user flows and the user flow helps with the sitemap because it sort of gets the idea of where you'll have to go and where everything will be. And then this really puts together, this is like the architecture of what the app is going to look like. And then we begin to prototype. So these are the original pen and paper, very quick prototypes I did, focusing on the main features, sort of looking at the sitemap, looking at the user flows, very quick, rough, just sort of trying to bring it to life. And then we've got mid fidelity. So this, I tried to keep quite simple, just focusing on the functionality, black and white, not too much colour, bits of grey, just so that when we did testing, it was easier for the user to focus on the functionality rather than commenting on the design of the app. And then we move further down. So here we've got testing. So after the mid-fidelity prototypes, we started to test. We did this with 8 participants, some in person, some on Zoom. And the goal was to find out about the functionality of the app, the user's understanding of the app and how they interacted. So the methodology was we tested, again, over Zoom or FaceTime or in person. We had 8 participants and they were in the right age range. Some were target audience, some were not, asking open-ended questions. And then we measured the errors using Jacob Nielsen scale and organised with affinity mapping. Here we've got the affinity map, the result. So you can see we've got observations here, positive quotes, negative quotes, errors. Sort of the errors being the main sort of important ones to look at here, and obviously the negative quotes. So these are the ones I picked out as very important that needed to be changed within the app. A lot of the participants brought them to my attention. So we've got usability, make it clear what the payment icons are, always right underneath / next to. Design, make buttons slightly smaller and the homepage was too busy. And we've got efficiency, have sign up with Google, Facebook or Apple options, and it takes too long to get to search for an expert. So these are things I took into consideration and made adjustments. So then with refining the design, we move on to high fidelity prototype. And here we have the high fidelity. I established visual guidelines for the UI and continue to improve accessibility and emotional engagement. So we've got the login screen, a more simple homepage, smaller buttons, and it's faster to get to an expert, taking on board what the users said from the testing. Very simple UI, sort of like light grey background with white cards on top, and with the sort of key green colour sort of running throughout. And then final thoughts here, I've just got highlighting here that it's not 100% finished. There are more aspects to the app that I want to create, maybe do another round of user testing before making final adjustments, sort of summing up what I've put here in the portfolio. And that's the end of my Behance portfolio of the mobile app Ladder Up. I hope you enjoyed watching and thank you very much.